Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Nobody Karens. I'm Karen, and thank you so much for coming back to watch my videos. This is video number 5 for me. Yay! I think it's really awesome that I'm doing these videos. It's a really good outlet for me, and I think it's a really good way to show other people who may be going in similar situations that they're not alone, and that, we all have our struggles, and 2016 has definitely been a year of struggles for me. In my last video, I finally had a surgery scheduled, which was going to be July 14th, and I was super excited about it, but I had to wait to see if I was going to get approved for the gap insurance, which basically covers all out-of-network costs, because the facility I was going to have my surgery at was not covered in my network. So the good news was I got approved for my surgery, and I was so excited. My heart dropped when I got the call about it. I was just ready to go. I couldn't wait for July 14th to come. I mean, it couldn't come fast enough. And I had the nephrostomy tube put in, and that was placed at the end of May. And I had it through June, and then comes July, which July was a pretty hectic month. It was probably one of my hardest months for this whole situation. July had marked my 1 year of having my back issues, having the pain in my back. It was July 6th of 2015, I believe, that started this whole mess. And now July 6th had come, and it had been a whole year. I had been dealing with this for a year. I mean, it was so emotional when I would talk to doctors about it or nurses about it when I was in the hospital. I would start crying because I was just so filled with emotion, and I couldn't believe that this is everything I have gone through. And I would try to start telling them exactly what was happening, and I would just go into tears. And sometimes my mom was with me, and my mom would have to finish telling the story just because it's so much for someone to go through. And today I was thinking about how, now looking back, it doesn't seem like it was that much, but maybe it's because I've already gone through it. But at the time, it seemed like it was the most bumpiest road I had ever been on. So July was a really hard month. June wasn't that bad. I had gone through it okay. I had my nephrostomy tube, and I graduated my group program with the therapy facility I was going to. So I no longer went 5 days a week. I no longer went to group. I only had my one-on-one sessions, and I also did my med management. My one-on-one sessions were once a week, and my med management was once a month now. So that was kind of cool. I got a little certificate. And I was really proud of myself because I had come so far. And even though I was still facing a long road ahead of me, I was proud that I had gone through the program and that I had found coping skills to help me and just ways to challenge my negative thoughts. So July comes. Like I said, I got approved for my gap insurance, and around, I believe it was around the beginning of July, so probably like the first week in July, I sprout a hole in my nephrostomy tube. And actually, let me show you what a nephrostomy bag looks like. I have an extra one here. So this is the actual nephrostomy bag, and like I said, it has the tops. So like, here we go, now it's right set up. So the tube would enter here, and this was the part where I would drain it from. These were the awesome leg straps that would go in and then strap around your leg. And I usually would only let it get about halfway before I would empty it. So that's my nephrostomy bag. So that was that. And the saline flushes was just something as simple as this. Has saline in it, and you would enter it into like this cock stop. No, that's a funny word. Where it would stop one end and then open another, and you would basically flush it in, so it would be going into your body. And one thing they told me not to do a lot of the time was suck out, which to me unclogged it better than pushing it all back in. But so this is the saline flush. So what had happened was, from me flushing so much, the pressure must have built up, and it's made a little tiny hole in the tube where it just barely comes out of my back. So like, here's my back, here's the tube that goes in the back. Right around this area right here is where the tiny little tube sprouted, and anytime I would try to put saline in it, the water would just come out. It would just come rushing and gushing out. I didn't know what to do, so I went to the ER, and I keep looking down because I have notes so I don't forget, because my memory, even at 33 years old, is starting to go. So I went to the ER, and they used a thing called Dermabond, which is this right here, and it's almost like a glow stick. You break it up to activate it, and then you use that to put over the hole, and it's kind of like just like a cement, like a rubber kind of cement. So I had 2 of these that they sent me home with, just in case I had any more issues, which was really cool of them. So they used that, clogged it, because I was so close to surgery. They didn't want to have to like replace it, so they just put that over there and they sent me on my way. They did give me fluids that day, and every time I go to the ER or the urologist, they always do a urine sample. I mean, it's just like, it's standard. They always do a urine sample. So about 4 days later, the Dermabond falls off. Like, literally just falls off somewhere in the bathroom. I don't know where. And let me tell you, when your tube is not flowing correctly, it's all backing up in your kidney. So all of this infection is just stirring in my kidney, and I'm having fevers, I'm having chills, I'm having night sweats. I remember one night I had a fever. I could not break a fever. It was 3 hours before I broke this fever. I was in my bed under all my blankets with my robe on, with a sweatshirt on, like freezing, because this fever would not break. And it was just it was a huge inconvenience and pain, and so that's what happens when your tube isn't draining properly, is that infection just stays in one place, and it just causes you to have it come out in other ways. So like I said, a few days later, I sent back to the ER because the Dermabond falls off, and I let them know I was just here on a Tuesday. It was actually day after 4th of July, the first time I had it done, so it was that Friday. And they said, okay, so we'll just put some more Dermabond on it because you're a week away from surgery, and we don't want to have to replace it, for that small amount of time. So this time we'll just put a couple more coats on it. We'll do 3 coats. So they put 3 coats of Dermabond on it. They do the urine sample, I think they gave me probably some more fluids through IV, and sent me on my way. And at this point, I was just getting I knew it was so close to surgery time, but I was just getting really irritated with this bag, and I was starting to feel like it just wasn't helping me. So as this is all going on, each time I go to the ER, the ER that I go to is actually closer to my house than my urologist's office and hospital that he works out of. So every time I go to the ER, they call him and let him know, hey, your patient's here, this is what's happening, what do you want us to do? It was almost as if they didn't know how to tackle on the situation. They had to have his approval for everything. And it's kind of like, you know, you should know what protocol is, but I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But he was all in the know while all this was going on. He knew of each time I went there and exactly what they did. So my surgery was going to be on July 14th, and I was getting excited because that time was coming. I had already had one postponed surgery, and I was just ready to get this going and over with, because like I mentioned in my last video, I just wanted one under my belt, and then I would feel so much better, because I felt like things would finally just keep going and rolling, and everything would start to, you know, just start to come into play. So between July 8th and July 13th, I get a call from my urologist's office from the surgery scheduler, and she said, Karen, we know you're having a lot of issues with your tube, and my urologist said that he wanted my tube replaced, and they wanted to postpone my surgery until August 10th, and that was a month away. And again, my heart breaks. I mean, I almost cried on the phone to this girl. I was so upset. I mean, I understood medically why this had to happen. I knew that he wanted my tube to work, you know, to work well. I knew he wanted that infection to all drain. And, you know, this was just part of the steps we had to take so I wouldn't have to worry about higher risk infection during surgery. But it doesn't change the fact that my emotions were running high and my stress was running high, and that I just felt defeated, basically. I mean, when was I gonna feel healthy again was one of the questions, you know, that and concerns that I had. So I was, like I said, I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I was angry. I mean, all the same emotions I keep having are just reoccurring emotions. So August 10th was going to be my surgery. I had a pre-op of August 3rd. Mind you, I had already had my pre-op for July 14th. So I've had 2 pre-ops, 2 surgery postponements, no surgery. So I had a 3rd pre-op that was for August 3rd, with a 3rd surgery scheduled for August 10th. So on let's see, July 19th, they replaced the tube in my back, and instead of putting just a tube in the same hole that was already in my back, they decided to just patch that up and basically drill a new hole. So, you know, I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be real simple kind of tube replacement, but no, it was like a whole new, having like the procedure done all over again. I also found out that I was going to need 1 to 2 units of blood before surgery. So I'd already had 1 blood transfusion, and now I was going to have another one before surgery. So that's, you know, 2 blood transfusions within 3 to 4 months. I mean, that's kind of crazy, but you know, it had to be done because I was anemic and I was losing blood somewhere, and no one understood where I was losing blood, and I was damn sure it was my kidney, but you know, that who knows. So like I said, July 19th I had the tube replaced. And I went ahead and went home. I didn't have to stay or anything like that. And my birthday came and went. My birthday was July 25th, and I turned 33. And so I spent another birthday in pain, but you know, I'm happy to have a birthday and be alive. So then July 26th, I wake up in the morning and my bed is soaking wet, like basically where my back is, and I thought maybe it's sweat because I've been having a lot of fevers lately because of all the infection that is in my kidney. And I show my mom, and she's like, I don't know, I don't think that's sweat, Karen. Come to find out, I basically wet the bed. I leaked out of my back where the incision was for my tube, which means it was urine. So I'm not afraid to say it. We can all laugh about it. Ha 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 ha. I literally wet the bed. So back to the ER I went to let them know what happened, and I was scheduled for the next day to have the tube replaced. This time I did spend a few days in the hospital. I spent, let's see, I probably got out the 28th, I think, of July. And by this time, like, I've seen a couple of the nurses from previous times. I've seen the same doctors. I mean, we're basically best friends. We might as well go have coffee. So they gave me a new tube, but this time they did a thicker tube so that way it wouldn't leak out. And at least it was in enough time for it to drain a couple weeks before I was gonna have surgery. So again, I mean, my emotions at this time, like I said, I felt defeated. I felt like there was never gonna be an end. I was so depressed. I was so sad. And what could you do? I mean, I felt exhausted, mentally and physically and emotionally exhausted. I didn't know what to do anymore. I was advocating for myself. I was going to all my doctor's appointments. I was taking all my medicines. I was trying to eat right. I was doing everything I possibly could to make this surgery happen. And my body was just not having it. And it just was a huge letdown. And you know, sometimes you have to laugh so you don't cry. And you know, I just couldn't believe, I was just like, what's just one more thing, you know? So like I said, July was a huge month with all the issues I had, you know, basically having 3 nephrostomy tubes put in, having to go back and forth to the ER, and it was just thinking about it makes my blood boil because it's so annoying. And it's just, I wanted the surgery so bad, and people wanted it for me. I mean, and people will tell you, oh, stay positive, oh, just, you know, keep moving, you know, and just, you know, think happy thoughts or whatever they say. And it's hard. I have been more, you know, you can only be so positive before you're like, dude, I don't know how to be more positive than I'm already being. So don't tell me to be positive. Don't tell me to be stronger. I'm already being as strong and positive as I can for someone who's going, you know, through what I've gone through. So that's July in a nutshell. In my next video, we'll see if I have that surgery that we've been talking about for the past, you know, 4 videos or whatever. I will let you know I make it to my pre-op, so that's hopeful, but let's see if I make it to surgery. So thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my video. Leave a cool comment, you know, hey, nice going, or hey, I hate your voice, or whatever you want to do. But, you know, sharing this video, you never know who you could be helping. So like I said, like, share, and subscribe, and just keep watching to see what happens next. Thank you again. Love you guys. Bye.